Hello, and thank you so much for signing up for the Book to Blog in 30 Days webinar training. I'm excited to talk through the first steps that you should take to turn your existing content, whether you are writing blog posts or whether you are creating videos, whatever that content is, really what you need to do to turn that into a book so that you can build authority in your niche, so that you can really share your passion with the world, and that also so you can earn some passive revenue. So I'd like to start by just giving you a little bit of my background and why I'm qualified to talk about this. My name is Dr. Beth Brombos, and I have been blogging for just about 5 years. My blog is currently at sublimelyfit.com. It's a health and fitness blog. And how I turned from just being a blogger into being an author is writing my first book and self-publishing it. It's called Yoga for Runners. I am a yoga teacher and a certified running coach, and so that sort of intersection between the two is one of my great passions. I had blogged a lot about it, and so in 2015 I decided to repurpose a lot of the Yoga for Runners blog posts that I had written and turn them into what became my self-published book. And I was actually able to do that in just 30 days. And I wasn't even working on it necessarily every single day of those 30 days, but it was a very quick process because I already had most of the content created as part of my blog. And so very quickly, very shortly, I was able to create this product that I sell as part of a bundle on my blog. I sell it on Amazon as well. And so it's just a nice little added source of revenue from my blog. Every month, I get deposits from Amazon into my business banking account. And I don't always, I don't have to really do any work if I don't want to promote that. So it's just a nice little added source of revenue from my blog. So wanted to just briefly touch on again, like, why do you want to write a book, or why should you write a book? And the first thing is that you have a purpose and a message to share. I mean, this is why you started your blog. This is why you continue to blog, and why you're serious enough about blogging that you're thinking about turning your blog into a book, is that you have a purpose and a passion, and you want to be able to share that with the world. And so really, a book is a great way to expand that and to really be able to reach more people. What's great about, whether you're a blogger or other content creator, is that you already have a built-in audience from your current platforms, which is awesome. If you just walked in off the street and decided to write a book, it would be tough to find people who would want to buy that book, and you would have to build the platform. But the good news is that you've already spent your time building your platform, building your audience, and those are people who will want to buy your book. We know that, especially if you're a blogger, you already enjoy writing, which is a great advantage. If you are a vlogger or you're a big fan of video, you can very easily get your content or your videos transcribed, and then you've got a lot of writing already done, and then you can either edit that yourself, or you could hire somebody to edit it to make it a little more polished, and again, very quickly turn that into a book. As I mentioned, what my book, it's a great way to create passive income. So if you're smart, you'll want to continue doing a little bit of marketing, reminding your followers that you do have this book that they may want to purchase, but you don't have to put in as much effort as you might for other products. If you decided to create a course, you would have to constantly be marketing it, that sort of thing. So the book, especially if you list it on Amazon, will, show up in search on there, and it'll be a good way to really, reach new people. You can build authority by writing a book. So You could think, well, gee, anybody could write a book. Why am I so special if I write a book? But really, it shows that number one, you know enough about your topic area to write a book, which makes you definitely an expert because you know a lot about that topic. And then also it shows that you're passionate enough about that topic and you care enough about that topic to spend the time to put together a book. So that definitely does elevate you, or having a book elevates you compared to other people, other bloggers, other content creators in your niche. And then finally, get some satisfaction from writing a book. Definitely. It's nice to be able to say, yeah, I'm actually an author and I'm pretty awesome for being an author. So don't discount that either. And one of the questions I get asked a lot about by bloggers who, maybe they're like, oh, yeah, I'd really like to write a book, but I don't even know where to start. So, where do you begin? The things that you're going to want to do is, first of all, figuring out the topic that you want your book to be about. And it might be a good idea if you're not really sure, if there's not one that naturally pops out at you due to your credentials or what you're blogging about, you might want to come up with a list of maybe 2 or 3 book topics that you might want to pursue, and then do some testing on those. Also think about, what are you passionate about? What questions do you get all the time from your blog readers as well? That can be really helpful. And then also, what's your area of expertise? So again, do you have any credentials? For example, I am a experienced registered yoga teacher and I have that running coach certification as well. So the yoga for runners niche was natural for me to go after, but maybe you have some certifications, or other ways that you've gained expertise that would make that natural for you. And if you need help really going through the topics, that sort of thing, head to blogger2author.com/download. I have some free worksheets that will walk you through some of these steps. Okay, so the next thing to do is testing your idea. And like I mentioned in the previous slide, you may want to come up with a list of maybe 2 or 3 ideas that you can further test and figure out which one is the best one to go after. Here I have a note about the book Will It Fly by Pat Flynn. I am a huge fan of this book. It's amazing for testing any sort of business idea that you think you would want to go after. And so I would really encourage you, if you're on the fence, to consider picking up that book. It's great. But really just want to make sure that once you have that short list, that you are taking the time to test those ideas and make sure that they've got some traction before you spend the time writing a book. So it's very important to test it, especially if you want to make money from your book. If you're just writing your book to say, yeah, I've written a book and I'm an expert, and you don't care about how many people are buying your book, you just want to have it, that's one thing. But especially you want to test it and see if people will pay money for it, if the main reason why you are writing the book is to add another stream of income to your business. And if you do want to make money from your book, it's really important to ask your readers and followers, would you be willing to buy a book or ebook about your chosen topic? And you can test this with, all 2 or 3 of those short list of ideas, and really look to see the people who are raising their hands, or count the number of people who are raising their hands and saying, oh yeah, I would absolutely pay money for this. Because it's one thing to ask if they would read it. It's quite another for people to actually spend their hard-earned money on a book. So you want to make sure, you're asking, would they buy it? So once you've narrowed down and really figured out a topic that resonates with your audience, and it's something that you really think that people will go for, you can start creating your outline. So figure out what material you already have written on your topic and start organizing that into book chapters. So I actually have done this with my books with Post-it notes. So I will write down my topics on Post-it notes, and then it's kind of nice because you can move them around a little bit more easily if you need to reorganize some things, which is really cool. Be sure to look through your old blog posts on the topic that you've chosen for your book, because again, that's content that you can go ahead and reuse. It's going to save you a lot of time. Um, and be sure that you do go through and, like edit those posts, see if there's anything you need to add. You could just copy and paste it, but your book will be a higher quality if you go through and do a little bit of editing as well. And then just when you found those posts that are relevant, go ahead and start grouping those together into chapters, or even just common ideas that you can separate into chapters or maybe sections of your book. So once you've got that written, or maybe even a little bit before, take the time to figure out who your ideal reader is. And that's who you're writing the book for, or who you're writing the book to. And sometimes you'll hear this called your avatar. But what that's going to do is it's really going to help you solidify what you need to include in your book. It's going to help you with your outline. For example, if your ideal reader is a beginner, you're going to include very different information in your book than somebody who knows a little bit more about the topic. So that's one of the reasons why having that avatar is really important. So you want to create a really complete avatar. So think through, age, or even if it's an age range. Are you maybe primarily writing to women or men? um, Occupation, is this person, do they work in a corporate job? Are they more of a blue collar? That type of thing. Like thinking through as much as you can about your ideal reader. Thinking about where he or she spends a lot of time, and especially thinking about where he or she is a lot on social media, because that's going to help you market your book. And then to think about the struggles and pain points that he or she is having with regard to your topic, because that will not only help you make sure that you address all of those struggles and pain points in your book, but it's also going to help you market your book as well. And again, if you need some extra help working through your reader avatar, go to blogger2author.com/download and download that free set of worksheets. There is a worksheet in there that helps you work through your ideal reader or your reader avatar. So once you have your outline written, once you've worked on all of these steps, go ahead and set aside several hours per week to work on your book. If you are a calendar person, mark it out actually in your calendar, like block off that time to set aside and stick to it. That just really helps you set aside again and concretely say, this is my book writing time. And then that just helps you follow through with it. If you are looking through your outline and you see some holes where you think, oh yeah, that's a topic that would be really helpful to have in my book, but I haven't written any content about it, what you can do is take those topics and put them in your blog's editorial calendar. So say you are writing a finance book and you need to cover budgeting, or maybe even how to write a budget, and you don't have a blog post about that yet, then you can say, okay, well, next Tuesday, I'm going to publish a blog post about how to write a budget. And then you can, again, take what you've written for your blog post and edit that further and add that to your book. So it's kind of a nice little way to multitask. So as you're writing your book, make sure that you are blogging with purpose. So I hope that this is helpful. Again, definitely go and get those free worksheets at blogger2author.com/download. If you're still stumped and you still need a little bit of help getting started, I do have a book basics mini course. It's very low cost, just $29. But you do get a lot with the course. It's a week-long course. So you get 7 daily training modules, one each day of the course. You get exclusive worksheets that are really detailed and walking you through the coursework every day. And then you do also get a 20-minute consult with me to discuss strategy and any questions you have about getting started with your book. If you have questions about your topic, if you have questions about where to go from here, whatever you need to talk about, you do get that with that 20-minute consult. So it's a really good deal. Just wanted to run through some of the topics that are covered in that week-long mini course. Creating the perfect reader avatar. So we really go through in depth, and I walk you through some really concrete steps and action items that you can do to create that reader avatar. I walk you through finding a book topic that resonates with your readers and sells copies. So again, giving you some solid action steps and those unique worksheets that are just for the people who are in the mini course to really walk you through this. And then I help you create a plan to finish your book and get it published. So again, it's only $29. So it's a great deal, very low price point, but it's a great way to get started, to help push you to go through the first steps to get your book published. And then again, ending with creating that plan so that you have action items to follow through. And you can sign up for that at blogger2author.com/mini course. And you can also learn more about the program at that URL, which again, blogger2author.com/mini course. So thank you so much for watching this training. I hope it's been helpful. Feel free to contact me with any feedback that you have about the training or any questions that you have about writing a book, turning your content into a book. I would love to help. And have a great day. Thanks again for watching.